Alarmeingang.
The alarm in the control center of Plant 640 is deafening. Natural gas is leaking. The alarm bells are ringing and the mechanisms in the control center are activated. Everyone's fears are confirmed. The gas catches fire and several people are injured in the flames. The rescue chain is set in motion. The employees press the alarm button and call the BASF emergency services. The drill starts like an incident would for real. Now it is time to keep a cool head and accurately pass on the information to the dispatcher in the Emergency Response Control Center. At the same time, a worker has to be designated who will immediately go outside to be clearly visible when the responders arrive and direct them to the leak. Just after the first alarm sounds, the site emergency response system springs into action.
Zug Nord nach Lysyj 640, dort Brand.
The BASF Fire Department, Emergency Medical Services and Emergency Doctors, Environmental Monitoring, and Site Security. They are all alarmed within seconds. The major advantage of the Emergency Response Control Center having all services in the same place becomes apparent. Each department sends out its responders immediately. Shortly afterwards, the fire engines arrive. Communication on the ground is extremely fast. The worker from the plant shows the incident commander the way to the site of the accident and provides information on the substances used in production. The incident commander delegates the tasks to his team. At the heart of the action is firefighter Daniel Lysyj. He is part of the water team, ensuring the fire water supply from the hydrant to the fire truck and to the colleagues manning the mobile water guns in the middle of the plant. Every move is well practiced. The coordination between colleagues is efficient and the level of concentration is high. The goal is to cool the plant sections affected by the fire as quickly as possible and to stop the gas supply so that the injured people can be rescued and treated safely. You need to be prepared so that the situation doesn't overwhelm you with all the injured persons and so on. You really have to focus on your work and on your tasks so that you can carry it out safely. The tension during the operation is actually not that huge because you are absolutely focused on the task that is asked, doing your job safely. Everyone needs to work efficiently throughout the incident, including BASF's environmental monitoring team. For Sebastian Need and his colleagues, that means dropping everything wherever he and his colleagues are. The Emergency Response Control Center coordinates multiple environmental monitoring vehicles and sends them to locations at varying distances from the scene of the deployment. These locations can be both inside and outside of the BASF site in Ludwigshafen, depending on the wind direction and speed. Using the blue lights is important to make enough space on the road. During the day, there's a lot of traffic at the BASF site, so you have a problem getting through. You don't drive faster than usual at all, but you arrive at the location faster. We want to take measurements as soon as possible to know if we have to initiate further action.
Inwieweit wir Maßnahmen treffen müssen oder inwieweit Maßnahmen getroffen werden müssen.
He takes air samples, conducts air measurements on the ground, and quickly determines whether a warning needs to be issued for employees or local residents. The experts from environmental monitoring forward the measured data to the fire department and site security. Where necessary, they can issue warnings or have a larger radius cordoned off. Site security is alerted at the same time as BASF's fire department and environmental monitoring. Colleagues always have their pagers with them and set off straight away.
Alarmeingang Ludwig 655, Weber 73 auf Anfahrt.
Weber 44 kommen.
Michael Rankel, an experienced member of site security, knows the site like the back of his hand and tags along behind the BASF fire trucks.
73 Ankunftseinsatzstelle.
The incident commander coordinates everyone needed from site security and is hard to miss in his green high-vis vest. Depending on the incident, his task is to cordon off a wide area for cars, trucks, and pedestrians, brief and organize the first responders, and, most importantly, stay calm at all times.
Zur Einsatzstelle Anfahrt, Mittelstraße, Kiesstraße.
The most important thing is the way to the site of the incident. We have to take care that we're not putting ourselves in danger. Also, when we cordon off the area, protecting oneself is always prioritized. Like the firefighters, we always drive to the location in the direction of the wind. We orientate ourselves using the smoke columns or wind socks on the site. Also, we orientate ourselves to the fire trucks, so we drove a short loop to the left. Rankel is in constant radio contact with the incident commander of the BASF Fire Department, the organizational commander of the emergency services, and BASF Environmental Monitoring. Communication is crucial in order to react to even the smallest changes in the situation quickly and appropriately. The fire water supply and the emergency response measures are in place, but that is no reason for Daniel Lysyj and his team to sit back and relax. Now, they too need to get into the middle of the action.
Man muss extrem teamfähig sein. Man muss sich gegenseitig
You need to be an absolute team player. You have to rely on each other. You need to be athletic. You have to be mentally and physically in a good shape to get through this, because this pushes you to the limit, especially at these temperatures in summertime.
Bei diesen Temperaturen.
The firefighters wear suits that weigh 30 kilograms with all the equipment. During the rescue action, they always work in teams of 4, looking out for anyone injured to evacuate them and take them quickly and safely to the paramedics. The victims in today's major incident drill are apprentices who have volunteered to be prepared with special makeup. Rescuing them is one thing, but it is useless unless the treatment that follows is effective. Despite the hectic atmosphere, the paramedics and emergency doctors need to make accurate diagnoses, administer first aid, and plan further treatment. Right from the start, seconds separate life and death. The procedure is clear. When the building alarm goes off in the site clinic, emergency doctors and paramedics set off for the affected plant straight away. BASF site doctor Kerstin Becker is one of them. For her, it means pulling on her emergency equipment as quickly as possible, reporting to the site clinic, and setting off with blue lights flashing. Once on site, the lead emergency doctor decides who should go where and what they should do. Injured helpers don't help anybody. That means we only go to areas that are safe and secured by the firefighters. That is one important thing. The other important thing is to be well up with the tasks exactly. Everyone has to know what to do so there won't be any confusion. In the colored triage system, the triage doctor gives the victims a number and a color. Red for life-threatening, yellow for severe injury, and green for minor injury. That could seem strange to spectators, that the patients are categorized in colors first because there is someone who hands out notices and numbers, but who is not really treating the injured. But without this process, there would be a lot of confusion, and a seriously injured person might not get immediate treatment, while a slightly injured person does. Kerstin Becker takes her place in the drill and sees that this apprentice is playing a patient in critical condition. The doctor has to quickly find a place in a nearby hospital and accompany the seriously injured victim there for further treatment. The employee care team works closely with the doctors. They too receive the call from the site's security command and control center, but their first port of call is a situation meeting. What happened? How many people are affected? What should we expect? When an incident occurs, the employee care personnel are on site to provide psychological first aid and to take care of the measures needed to process the consequences of the incident, individually and as needed. We look after those employees who saw what happened, those that maybe gave first aid and that are not able to deal with the overwhelming situation. We meet the people and talk to them. The support can even extend over several days. Only trained employees work in crisis support. attending 2-day seminars twice a year. It is important to have a mix of people with training in social education and psychology, as well as employees from production and engineering, men and women, older and younger people. After all, the kind of response needed depends on who needs care and how. Sebastian Need's work is not done after the air measurement. He goes to the deployment site to support his colleagues there. What is happening with the firefighting water? Is it contaminated? Do drains in the surrounding area need to be sealed? Does the company itself have to do anything, or do authorities need to be informed? All this is fully documented, the data from the day is compiled and recorded. Only then is the mission complete. BASF Fire Department, Emergency Medical Service, emergency doctors, environmental monitoring, employee care, site security, and first responders are all called to the scene from the surrounding plants and buildings. Effective collaboration is crucial if everything is to run smoothly. Without the other departments, we would not be able to do a lot. There are many people who need to work together in a coordinated way, otherwise it doesn't work. An operation is always a kind of teamwork, within the department but also between the departments. We practice nearly every day with all units. In a larger exercise like this, you recognize that it's all worth it. For me, it was the first time to be part of a huge exercise like this, as it also was for many of the other members of the working group too. We were nervous. What's going to happen? What will I experience? But the emergency doctors, the designated employees, and the incident commander instructed us so well. People told us exactly when and where they needed our help and what we would have to do. So it was very impressive for us to see all that, and now we have a good footing for a real emergency. The teamwork between the multiple units, not only within the firefighters, but between the various departments, is so important. This is the only way that it can all be implemented. The teamwork on site is necessary, of course. We work hand in hand. They need us, we need them. Every time, it's amazing how fast you think you have real patience in treatment, even though you know this is just a drill and the person in front of you is just wearing makeup. A switch is flipped in your head and you just act like it's a real emergency case. But I'm really glad that it wasn't. With more than 100 emergency personnel, 24 vehicles from BASF Fire Department alone, and one of 2 turbo extinguisher trucks, this is a drill on an enormous scale, enabling employees and responders to train together in case the worst happens. Automatic responses are practiced, communication optimized, processes simplified, and errors weeded out. Even after 29 years, the BASF Major Emergency Response Plan remains unique. Safety always has 2 sides. The most important thing is prevention. BASF does a lot for that. We have extensive security concepts which reflect the highest technical level. We work with our employees to show them the right behavior. For example, during the Global Safety Days last month, we held about 1,000 workshops. But if there is an accident, you have to be prepared, and that's what we are doing today with this drill. We want to see if the separate units come together in a serious case. I'm satisfied. You have to imagine that the men were working in these weather conditions with more than 30 kilos of equipment, and they didn't even complain. They were just doing it. And the challenge wasn't easy at all. They had to rescue many injured people from the buildings. But regardless of what the firefighters did, the other emergency response units also contributed very well. I am really happy that everything worked today. Today I saw that we in Ludwigshafen are absolutely well prepared. We have our experts and well-educated operational forces. That's phenomenal to see, and it's good to see it work.
Ich muss sagen, das ist phänomenal. Und das macht auch Spaß zu sehen, sowas sozusagen miteinander zu üben.
The squad did a great job. Of course, we will analyze what worked well and where we might have to optimize something, but this is the key. This is why we do it, to simulate the case of emergency and draw conclusions for the future.
Für die nächste Großschadensübung entsprechend umsetzt.
Aktuell haben wir keine Ersthelfer vor Ort.
Quick reactions, close communication, adrenaline, precision, teamwork. When the worst happens, when every second is crucial, practice makes perfect.
BASF. We create chemistry.